Hello, Steemits. Hello, YouTube. Crypto G here and Mini G as well. We're just doing a little Blender tutorial. Say hi to Steemit and YouTube, Mini G.
Hi, Steemit. Hi, YouTube.
Yep, and Mini G decided she wanted to watch me do this tutorial for you as part of the Grow Together series. And as you may know, that I'm just sort of starting out using this software myself. Always had a bit of a mental block with 3D software, so I've just decided to learn it and get rid of that mental block, and hopefully you'll grow along with me. As you can see here, I've done the kind of obligatory, I think it's kind of an obligatory first shape because it's fairly easy. It's complex enough to learn stuff, but easy enough so that you can actually complete it. So I've just been messing around. I've got to this stage. It isn't complete, but kind of smoothing it out and making it look a bit more realistic is a whole another thing. So I just wanted to basically bring you to kind of this kind of stage, show you how we can build up this wireframe model, and yeah, basically get you editing straight away. In fact, I've noticed a little mistake on this, so the one I'm going to show you is going to be even better. Right, okay, let's get on with it. The first thing we need to do, or at least I need to do because I'm in this, is get myself a new project. There we go. So I'm just going to hit 1 on the keyboard. There we go. So we're around to the side here. Right, okay, let's delete this. I'm going to delete this. Okay, and can you remember the first thing we do, Mini G?
No.
No. Okay, well, we shift an A, which brings us our add menu, and we go down to cylinder.
Yeah, I remember that part.
Yes. Okay, and now the bit I always forget is over on the left-hand side here, there's a little menu at the bottom. It says add cylinder, and then underneath that we see cap fill type, which unless you're using a very old version of Blender, you should see. If you are, just go and update at Blender. Okay, and now we're going to go to triangle fan. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Blender render, and we're going to change that to cycles render. Okay, right, so now that's our initial setup. Now we need to start editing the object. So we're going to go down here to the bottom to the left, and we're going to click here, and we're going to go from object to edit mode, and we're going to come right next to that there with the little shape, and we're going to say wireframe. Okay, perfect. So now what we have is a cylinder. I'm going to press A, which is selected. So I'm going to press A to deselect. I can select or deselect by pressing A. Now I'm going to left click, and this is a great time to just remind you, you might know this already, but just in case, these are new tutorials. Blender, unlike other programs, uses right click to select. However, you can, seeing as most programs are left click, you can go into user preferences here, and you can change from right click, which will be the default, to left click. Okay, apparently Blender are going to be changing that to left click, but for these tutorials, keep it on left. And I believe my new screen recording software will tell you which button I'm clicking anyway. Right, so what I've done here is I've just clicked on this little portion here, and you can see it's just the middle that is highlighted. So I'm going to press delete and say vertices. And now we have a cylinder that we can look inside. Okay, so I'm just going to press 1 on the keyboard, come back to the front. Now, leaving my mouse just over the object, I'm going to press Control R. That's going to give me a little purple line, and I'm going to use my scroll wheel. I'm going to scroll up twice, 3 times, oops, 4 times. That's what I want. Then I'm going to click, left click, and I'm going to hit enter. and I'm going to deselect. So now we see we've now got lots of bands around with little points, which are called vertices. So now I want to select just the top vertices. So I'm going to come over to the right and I'm going to press the B button, B for Bravo, and I'm going to select some vertices, and I'll just go do that by doing this. Now, I wanted to show you this because you saw the way I selected there. I came outside and I selected over and everything looks fine, but however, if you tilt and look to the back, we see I've missed some. Now I could add those by pressing Shift and just simply left clicking and select. However, I'm going to just undo that for you. Hang on, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. It pays to get it right the first time. This is a very simple object, so it's very easy to spot mistakes. However, on more complex objects, I'd say this is something to pay mind of. So we're going to press B, get up our crosshairs, and we're going to come right away from the object, and we're going to start our selection from there, and then we're going to go right away from the object as well. And now you see we've got everything. Okay, so just bear in mind when you're selecting. So now I want to click on just the blue arrow and pull down. There we go. And I'm going to start teaching you about Z space here. This is where 3D stuff can become complicated because you have Z space, which is obviously going off into your screen. But for now, just concentrate on the blue and the red. So once we've got that, we're going to click, we're going to hit return. We've got that. Now we are going to hit 1, so we're at the beginning. There we go. And we're going to, oh, that's a bit of a strange angle actually. We're going to press E, which stands for extrude, but we're not going to extrude it to anywhere. We're just going to hit enter straight away. Then we're going to hit S for scale, and then we don't need to put our cursor anywhere. We can just type straight into the keyboard 0.8, and then we hit return to accept those changes. Now I'll just tilt up so you can see what's happened. So we extruded and then we scaled inwards just to create a little lip here. Okay, so we've done that. Now the next thing we want to do is we can deselect that. We're going to do a bit of shaping of our cup. So we're going to press B. We're going to come here. Is it here we want to start from? Yeah, it's here. And we want to go down to, let's say, probably a bit high, actually. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, make sure, oops, see there I haven't. In fact, you know what, I'm going to undo that because that's too high for me. I'm going to go B again, and let me just get to the front view. There we go. Right, let's get to the front view. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to press B again, and I'm going to start from here this time. Am I going to start from here? Yeah, I'm going to start from here. There we go. And I'm going to go all the way down to this line here, come out and let go. Okay, so that's a bit of a funny selection there. So I'm just going to get rid of these. Still not used to the selection tool yet on Blender. As you can see, it's not as simple as something like Pixlr, which I'm very used to working with, because of course we're in 3 dimensions, not 2. You're asking the computer to grab stuff that is in away from the screen as well as what you can see flat on. Okie dokie, so there we go, that's the last little bit. 2 more to get. Is that 1 more to get? Oh gosh. Golly gosh, there we go, I've just undone that. Right, this is why it pays to get a good selection straight away. Okay, last one here, shift and click. Okay, so now we're going to press S, and we're going to say, what should we say, 1.07, I reckon. 1.06, 1.06. There we go, and then we hit return. Okay, and so remember, when I say type in, I'm not asking you to put your cursor anywhere. I just want you to type straight into the keyboard. Okay, and then we're going to hit B again. This time we're going to start from about here. Yeah, and we're going to go all the way out to here. Make sure we get all the ones at the back as well. And we don't. Got to get used to this, Mini G.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to just shift and click till we've got everything. There we go. Okay, hit 1 on my number pad so I'm at the front. Then I'm going to hit S on the keyboard for sugar, and I'm going to go 0.8. Oh, now that's interesting. I actually really like that. Now I can see why that's happened because I had the middle selected as well. So I'm going to actually accept that. Then I'm going to undo that, Control Z. I'm going to hit A, and I'm going to select it how I meant to. But I kind of like that shape. I like that shape, and sorry, let me hit 1 on the keypad. There we go. I like that shape, and you know, I can imagine making something out of that. Oh dear, I keep pressing the wrong button here. So B, and where do I want to grab? I want to grab just above the bottom, don't I? So I get all of this. I'm just beginning to understand the tool now, actually. I'm just beginning to understand the tool. If I want to get those back lines in there around here, I have to make sure that obviously it starts above there. So now that should get in everything. Yeah, there we go. So S to scale and type in 0.8. There we go. That's what I was going for. And then A. Yeah, that's a bit of a different shape cup, but hey, who cares? Right, now we've done that. I'm happy with that. I'm going to press 1 on the keypad, and I'm going to press Shift middle mouse button, and I'm just going to zoom across, pan across, sorry. Then I'm going to come down to edit mode, and I'm going to put it back onto object mode and solid. There we go. Starting to take shape, Mini G.
Yeah, but you just need the handle.
That's right. So now I'm going to just create a point over here with my right click, and I'm going to get up my add menu, which you can access from down here, but I like to just press Shift A, and I'm going to say curve path. Oops, there we go, curve and path. There we go. Now I'm going to go to edit mode, and that gives me a bunch of points. Looks more than it is, but these broken lines aren't the points. You'll start to see that's a point there, that's the middle. This is a point here, which I'm going to choose by left clicking, and I'm going to drag up, and you're going to start to see what's going on now. Okay, I'm going to zoom out slightly, and I'm going to click right at the end. Can I get it without zooming in? Yes, I can. So now I'm going to use the blue arrow to move it in that plane, to move it down, and then I'm going to use the red arrow to curve it up. Use the blue arrow to bring it back up a bit again. And then I want this one here. I'm going to go up and to the left. Then this point here, which we haven't moved yet, so we're going to move down and to the left. Use the red. So you see, it's really quite handy because when you're on these, you know, that used to freak me out a lot about 3D, that, you know, you could end up moving stuff off the center line and you never know when you're on this view. But, you know, as long as you just stick to using these arrows and never try and move it from the middle, because then what happens is you end up clicking on this green arrow and pushing or pulling it, you're okay. Right, let's carry on with this. Unlike my pixeler tutorials, I won't skip ahead so much because I think this is important because I'm aiming this at people who are just turning this program on for the first time and they want to, I'm just going to get my view here, and they want to find out how to do this stuff, and I don't think it's helpful to skip ahead too much. Perhaps when I get a bit more advanced, I start doing advanced tutorials, we'll skip ahead. Okie dokie, we're starting to look pretty good here. Starting to look handle shaped. What do you think, Mini G? Is that looking like a handle?
I think it should go from like that bit to that bit, so then it kind of looks.
Yep. Yeah, it's starting to look. I'm going to curve this bit up a bit more, and I'm going to bring in the back a bit more. That's what I'm going to do. So that's going to curve up. Let's go back a bit. And then this bit here will come right in to kind of squash the shape. Squash the shape. Still a bit big, I think. What do you reckon?
I think it's just fine, actually.
Yeah, you don't think that's a bit big? I think that's a bit big. I think we're looking at sort of more like that kind of thing.
I'll go and have a look at a cup, so then.
You're going to get an actual cup. Good idea.
So then we can tell.
Yeah. Right. So, okay, I think this is looking pretty good now. Mini G's just getting us a cup. And yeah, there we go. I think that's pretty good. The Steamians at home can't see this, but I think we've measured up that pretty nicely. Okay, so once we've done that, we are happy with our shape. We now want to add a circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to object mode. And there we go. We've just got our path there. And you'll see why we want to add a circle now. I'll just explain that as we go. So Shift A for our add menu. This time we're on curve, not mesh, and we'll go circle. Right, and as you can just see, I'm just off the plane of the elliptic there. We can see our circle. But we don't want it that big. We're going to say S for scale and then 0.2 and then hit return. Okay, now we're happy with that. Now what we want to do is we want to apply some properties from our circle to our handle. So we're going to click over onto the handle. We're going to go back into edit mode. There we go. Oh no, sorry, we're not going to go back into edit mode. We're going to go object mode, and then we're going to go solid. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to apply the circle properties to our handle. So we've selected the handle. Make sure that we're on selecting of the handle, and we can do that just by checking here to see what's highlighted. I'm just going to bring this out a bit. Yeah, and we can see that our path that we created is highlighted. Then we want to come over to this path menu here, and under geometry, you'll see on the right, we'll see bevel object, and we're going to go here, press, and we'll see Bezier circle, which is the name of that circle we just added. And we're going to click Bezier circle. There we go. So now we've turned just that simple path. We've given it 3 dimensions basically. Okay. And I haven't quite lined it up properly. I should have curved that top bit down a bit, which I could do. Actually, I'm going to do. So I'm going to undo that. I'm going to go to, no, I'm not, because the tutorial will take ages. So I'm not going to do that actually, guys. So yeah, I'm just going to keep that as a Bezier circle. Let's go to bevel object here. Keep that as a Bezier circle, and I'll just move it around and get it right. Okay, so now we've done that, we now want to put the properties of this circle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're on the circle, select the circle, come up to preview, and we're going to just keep clicking until we hit 1 here. And there we go. And so now our circle has turned into a square, and so have the ends of our handle. Okay, so we're happy with that. And we now need to turn this into a mesh. So we're going to say Control C. Sorry, not Control C, I beg your pardon. We're going to say Alt C. Alt C, there we go. Mesh with curves. Right, so now we've turned this handle into a mesh. We can turn it into a wire mesh, which means we don't need our circle anymore. So I'm just going to click on that, which is now a square, and delete. Yes. Okie dokie. So now let me just pan across, get to a nice view. In fact, hit 7 to make sure it's all lined up, and it is. Hit 1. I want to move the handle a bit closer to the cup, so I'm going to select that. And, oops, sorry, not the handle closer to the cup closer to the handle. I'm just going to select that and bring that there. Yes, that'll do me. That'll do me. Okie dokie. Right, now what we need to do is we need to make both of these objects 1. So I'm going to shift and click. So we've got both as 1. And I'm going to say Control J. And that has made both of our objects 1 piece. Now we can go back to editing. So we're going to go to edit mode. And you can see now they both look the same. And we're going to go to these little cubes here. And this one here has its face highlighted. So we're going to go like this. We're going to spin round. And we're going to select the faces that our cup is going to merge onto. So I'm going to do the bottom ones first because they're a bit easier. Let's just spin it around so we can see. I'm going to select that face. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to hold shift. I'm going to click that face. Now when I did this before, my handle was angled down a bit and I only needed that face and that face. But now I can see actually I also need to get rid of this face and this face. Okay, and then I'm just simply going to hit delete and slide down to faces and faces. So now we've got gaps where our handle is going to meet. This will not look as good, I think, as the first one, but let's see. Right, come down to our cubes rather, and hit edge select, which is next to it. Now we're going to select this edge here, which it hasn't selected that edge. There we go. Let's move it around so we can select it. Let's select this edge here. Why isn't that selecting? Here we go. Let's get a bit closer. Let's select this edge here. There we go. Spin round. I'm going to hit shift and we're going to hit this edge, this edge. No, we're not going to do that edge and that edge. We're just going to do this edge and this edge. That's what I reckon. Yeah, and then we're going to press the F button for face. There we go. Then we're going to hit this edge, shift this edge, shift this edge, and we're going to hit face, F for face, and we're just going to carry on. So like I said, I'm not going to skip ahead. You can watch me do this. If you're new to the program, this is going to be helpful. F, this edge. See it taking shape now, Mini G?
Yeah,
okay.
I definitely see it coming together.
Okay, and then we're going to press F. Oops. F. Oh no, maybe that's saying that that's impossible. So F. All right, what have I done wrong there? Oops. Aha, that's interesting. So I'm going to do that and press Control Z. Right. Always got undo, people.
Yep.
Always got undo. Oops. Actually, Control Z, because I need to get this face and then press F. Oh, we've still got a gap there. Choose that edge and press F. There we go. So we got a handle there. That's okay. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, let's do the same thing for the bottom. This edge and this edge. Will I need to go around? No. F. Yep. That edge with that edge. F. Oops. F. Spin round. See, this is much more like. Oops, that's the wrong edge. That's an inside edge there. Let's bless you. Got to come a bit closer. That's an inside edge. F. Let's make sure we got the right edge there. Yeah, we have. Oh, do we need to select that one? I wonder. I'm going to do it just in case. Yeah. F. And then this one with this one. And this bottom one, I think I'm going to have one more gap. I am, aren't I? You know, you could probably do this as you're doing this on your own, guys. You could probably do this a lot better. But for me, oops, I don't mind as long as they're all shut. This edge and this edge. Oops, no, shift. Okay, I'm going to come in. Ah, I see what's going on. I'm trying to choose an inside edge, and this edge, and this back edge. Oh, why is it? Oh, I'm hitting caps locks, guys. That's why it wasn't letting me do that. There we go. An F for face. There we go. So I hit on one on my keypad, zoom out, and there we go. So we've now got a rudimentary cup with a handle. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the inside of the cup. Are we going to do that now? Yes, we are. Yeah, let's do that now. Right, give you your value for money, Steamians and YouTubers. So we're going to go to edit mode. We're already on that, and we're going to go wireframe. Okay. Now we're going to go B, and we're going to choose the top of the rim. I've got to, this is going to be a lot trickier now because I've designed this differently. Ah, no, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. In fact, I don't want these. I want these. I'm going to just select these one by one, I think. No, I'm not, because that's really fiddly. So we're going to say B, and we're going to select that way. I've actually done this the wrong way round. Now I can see why it's so difficult, actually. So I'm just going to keep selecting here. So I'm going to go a bit quiet, but I'm going to keep selecting. And oops, let's accept that. There we go. I don't want that. So yeah. Remember, any time you need to deselect, just hit A. Yeah, should have done this before I put the handle on, so it's going to be a lot harder. But you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go Shift, and we're going to try and... Ah, that's why. That's why. It's because I'm still on edge, guys. I'm still on edge. So, you know, this is called Grow With Me, and you are growing me. I'm learning from my own mistakes. So what we want to do is we want to come down here to the bottom, and we want to turn these into vertices. There we go. So where we've got loads of little dots. Now we can get what we want. So B, there we go. Let's get what we want, deselect what we don't have, what we don't need, and select what we need. Okay, that's good. That is now good. Now I can go around deselecting these. So, okay, hi Steamians. I've just basically got it how I want there. So I'm just selected on the top vertices here. Right, so once we've done that, and basically at the end of this tutorial, you know what, I'm going to whiz through and I'm just going to do it the right way round. So if you're interested in watching me do it the right way round, because you'd much prefer to kind of, do it properly, then I'll just give that as a bonus section and I won't speak. I'll just do it as quickly as possible. But for now, we've selected the top and we're going to hit E for extrude, but we want to extrude to the same point. So we're going to hit enter. Then we're going to do, I'm just going to tip this up for you, S.8. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do 0.8. Yeah, go on then. 0.8. And then hit return. Then I'm going to hit 1 on the keypad so that we're back in the front again. Then we're going to hit E for extrude. And then we're going to hit Z. And we're going to, and Z means that we're just kind of going up and down in the same plane. Let me just start. I'm going to go down to about there. I'm actually on the wrong view. I need to sort of be looking at it from there. That's about right. And then we're going to go S, and then just with your mouse this time, do it so it's roughly kind of parallel with the outside of the glass, I think to about there, the cup rather. Click. Then we're going to say, do I have to return that? No. And then E to extrude. I'm going to come down to about sort of there. Click. And then S to scale. I'm going to come out to about there. Click. E to extrude. This time I'm going to come down a bit further. Oh, no, I'm going to hit Z. Oops, where are we? Z, so that I'm just coming straight down. I want to come down to there this time, yep. I want to come down to just where it starts tilting. I'll change my view slightly, then I'm going to go... I want to come down a bit further. Yeah, I do. I just want to come down a bit further. So I'm going to say E again, hit Z. So I only come straight down. Come down to there. Click. Hit S for scale. This time I'm going to come down to about there. Click. Hit E to extrude. Come down to sort of there. S, come down to sort of there, and then this is the last one, E to extrude, come down, and E to extrude again. Oh, sorry, not E to extrude, and click, E to extrude, click. Right. Now I'm going to come up to here and I'm going to find my merge, which is here. I'm going to go merge at center. Wow, okay, center has been said, but it's over there. I didn't realize that that's where the center was. So I'm going to Control Z and I'm going to change that and I'm going to right click to create a center right here. There we go. Now I can say merge at center. Oh, I said at cursor before. I meant to say at center and I said at cursor. Okay, see what I did there. So merge at center, there we go. It just merges at center. So that's an interesting thing to do. So there we go. So now we've got the wireframe of the cup. You can see we've got a sort of inner shell to our cup. We've got the handle. So the last thing we need to do before we go on is we're going to go out of edit mode. We're going to go to object mode. We're going to go to solid. We're going to come over here and we're going to go to smooth. Right, that is basically it, Steamians. We've got our cup there. In the next tutorial, because this tutorial has really taken a lot longer than I thought it would, I'm going to show you how to smooth it out and basically look a lot better than it is now. So yeah, I hope you like that. I'm going to save this. I'll show you how to save because that's very important. So we're going to say File, Save. I've already got a directory there. I'm going to click on the red here. Each Blender file is a .blend file, so we'll keep the .blend. And we're going to call this Cup Tutorial 2 because I've already got one where I was practicing. Cup Tutorial 2. And then I'm going to come over to the right, save Blender file. And there we go. Right, okay, so for those of you, so that's it for the tutorial, but for those of you who want to see me do it the right way round, I'm going to just quickly whiz through it now. I'm just going to do it without speaking, essentially. I might say the odd thing. So if you're interested, carry on watching. If you're not, you've got all the information you need now. Okay, so bye to some of you.